Static crackles through the handheld recorder as I press play, my hands trembling slightly. Ship's log, day 247 since abduction. They thought they had me all figured out, just another specimen in their cosmic collection. If only they knew what was coming. The recording cuts off abruptly, leaving behind an eerie silence that sends chills down my spine. As an investigator assigned to decode this mysterious audio file recovered from deep space, I never expected to uncover a story quite like this. What started as a routine missing persons case in a small Colorado town would soon unravel into something far more extraordinary. It was a cool September evening when Alex Chen, a quantum physics professor at the local university, vanished without a trace from his backyard observatory. His neighbors reported seeing strange lights in the sky, but such sightings weren't uncommon in that area. What made this case different was what we found in his study: pages of complex calculations and hastily scribbled notes about interdimensional travel theories. The initial investigation suggested a typical alien abduction scenario, the kind that usually gets dismissed as science fiction. But 6 months later, we detected an unusual signal broadcasting from somewhere beyond Jupiter's orbit. The message was encrypted in a way that perfectly matched the theoretical encryption method detailed in Alex's research papers. They're so confident in their technological superiority, continues another recovered audio clip, Alex's voice now carrying a hint of amusement. They don't realize that while they've been studying me, I've been studying them. Every test, every scan, every procedure, they're giving me exactly what I need. Sometimes the best way to understand a lock is to let yourself be locked up. Through fragments of his logs, we piece together an incredible tale of resilience and ingenuity. The aliens, a species that had mastered interstellar travel, believed they were dealing with a simple test subject. They didn't account for the fact that their specimen was one of Earth's leading experts in quantum mechanics, with a particular focus on reverse engineering unknown systems. The most fascinating part: Alex wasn't just trying to escape, he was planning something bigger. His later recordings hint at discovering critical vulnerabilities in the aliens' supposedly perfect technology. They built their entire civilization on principles they barely understand, he notes in one entry. Sometimes the most advanced species are the ones who've forgotten the basics. But just as Alex's logs begin to reveal his master plan, the recordings become corrupted. The final clear transmission contains only a few words. If you're hearing this, remember, humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our ability to adapt, to learn, and to turn the tables when we're cornered. They're about to learn that lesson the hard way. What exactly did Alex discover aboard that alien vessel? How did he plan to use their own technology against them? And most importantly, did he succeed? The answers lie in the remaining encrypted transmissions, which our team is still working to decode. But one thing's becoming increasingly clear: this isn't just another story about aliens underestimating humans. This is about something much more profound: the remarkable ability of the human mind to transform from prey to predator, from student to master, from captive to, well, that's what we're about to find out. The signal is still broadcasting, growing stronger each day. Something is heading back toward Earth, and whatever it is, it's moving with purpose. The question isn't just whether Alex survived, it's what he's bringing with him. And as we race to decrypt the remaining messages, I can't shake the feeling that we're about to witness the most incredible chapter of human history unfold before our eyes. As I sift through the mountain of data from our deep space monitoring stations, another transmission catches my attention. This one's different, clearer, stronger, and encoded using an entirely new pattern. After 3 days of non-stop decryption attempts, we finally break through, and Alex's voice fills the lab once again. I've discovered something that changes everything we thought we knew about space travel. He begins, his tone carrying an urgency I hadn't heard before. These beings, they call themselves the Collective, have been visiting Earth for centuries. But they're not the advanced civilization they pretend to be. They're scavengers using stolen technology they barely comprehend. The recording continues, revealing how Alex spent his first months in captivity appearing docile and cooperative, all while meticulously observing their technology and behavior patterns. He noticed something peculiar. Despite their impressive spacecraft and advanced medical equipment, the aliens seemed to follow rigid, almost ritualistic procedures for operating their technology. It was as if they were following a manual without understanding the underlying principles. It's like giving a smartphone to someone from the 1800s. Alex explains in another fragment. They might figure out how to make calls or take pictures, but they wouldn't understand how the touchscreen works or why certain gestures perform certain actions. That's when I realized these weren't the original inventors of this technology. Through careful observation and his background in quantum physics, Alex began to piece together the truth. The collective had discovered the remnants of an ancient, far more advanced civilization. Instead of developing their own technology, they'd spent millennia reverse engineering what they'd found, building their entire society on borrowed knowledge. But Alex noticed something else, something that made his heart race with both excitement and fear. The original builders of this technology had left behind safeguards, subtle mathematical patterns woven into the very fabric of their creations. Patterns that the collective, in their rush to claim technological superiority, had completely overlooked. The really fascinating part, Alex's voice crackles through another transmission, is how similar some of these patterns are to theoretical models I've been working on back on Earth. It's as if the original builders wanted their technology to be understood by civilizations that develop certain mathematical principles independently. They left breadcrumbs for those who knew where to look. The next series of recordings detail Alex's careful experiments, conducted under the guise of confused human responses to their tests. Each time the collective thought they were examining him, he was actually gathering crucial data about their systems. But the truly genius part of his plan wasn't just about understanding their technology. It was about understanding their psychology. They're so convinced of their superiority that they become blind to their vulnerabilities. Alex notes, they don't just underestimate humans, they underestimate everyone, and that's going to be their downfall. A sudden burst of static interrupts the recording, followed by alarms blaring in the background. The last clear words we hear are, I've finally gained access to their central systems. If this works, if the patterns I've discovered mean what I think they mean, everything's about to change, not just for humanity, but for every species they've ever. The transmission ends there, leaving us with more questions than answers. But one thing's becoming increasingly clear. Whatever Alex discovered aboard that ship wasn't just a way to escape. It was something far more significant, something that could reshape the balance of power in our galaxy. And now, as our instruments detect an enormous energy signature approaching Earth's solar system, we're about to find out exactly what Alex set in motion. The question is, are we ready for what comes next? The energy signature grows stronger with each passing hour, and our monitoring stations worldwide are lighting up like Christmas trees. What started as a pinpoint of unusual activity near Jupiter's orbit has evolved into something our instruments can barely comprehend. Whatever's heading toward Earth, it's bending spacetime in ways we've only theorized about in scientific journals. Through the static and interference, we managed to piece together more fragments of Alex's recordings. His voice sounds different now, confident, almost amused. The collective never questioned why their advanced ship systems required such specific activation sequences. He explains, they were so focused on following their precious protocols that they never noticed the back door hiding in plain sight. The original builders weren't just leaving safeguards. They were leaving an instruction manual for anyone clever enough to decode it. A new transmission arrives, this one crystal clear despite originating from the edge of our solar system. I need to warn Earth about what's coming. Alex's voice rings with urgency, but not because we're in danger, because we need to be ready for the opportunity of a lifetime. The collective isn't sending a rescue mission or an invasion fleet. They're running scared. According to the decoded logs, Alex had discovered that the ancient civilization's technology wasn't just more advanced, it was fundamentally different. While the collective had spent centuries brute forcing their way through the systems, treating them like simple machines, the technology was actually alive in a way we'd never imagined. It responded to understanding, to innovation, to the very qualities the collective had abandoned in favor of rigid hierarchy and borrowed power. They thought they were the masters of this ship. Alex's voice carries a hint of wonder, but they were never more than guests who'd overstayed their welcome. The real system, the true heart of this technology, it was waiting for someone who could do more than just follow instructions. It was waiting for someone who could understand its language. The latest data from our deep space arrays shows something unprecedented. The massive ship approaching Earth isn't just moving through space, it's reshaping it. Gravitational sensors show ripples of distortion spreading out like waves on a pond. But instead of water, it's the fabric of reality itself being manipulated. What I'm about to attempt has never been done before. Alex's most recent transmission crackles through our speakers. The collective thought they had mastered interstellar travel, but they were just scratching the surface. The ship's true capabilities, they're beyond anything we've ever dreamed of. And now, after all these months of preparation, I'm going to wake it up. Really wake it up. The recording cuts to background noise that our best analysts can't quite decipher, something between a hum and a song, like crystal glasses singing at frequencies that shouldn't be possible. Then Alex's voice returns, barely containing his excitement. It's responding. Everything I hypothesized was correct. The patterns, the sequences, the quantum-level responses, it's all connected. And in about 48 hours, Earth is going to witness something that will change our understanding of the universe forever. Ground-based telescopes are now picking up visual confirmation of the approaching object. But instead of the sleek, metallic structure the collective used to show off their stolen power, witnesses describe seeing what looks like a living aurora, a ship made of light and possibility, weaving its way through the stars with deliberate purpose. The final transmission we received before the massive communications blackout contains just 3 words from Alex. Get ready, everyone. And as the mysterious vessel enters our inner solar system, every scientist, every government, and every person with their eyes on the sky asks the same question. What exactly did Alex awaken out there in the darkness of space? Just as the world holds its breath watching this ethereal vessel approach Earth, our deep space monitoring stations detect something else. Multiple objects moving at incredible speeds from the outer solar system. The collective, it seems, isn't willing to let their secrets slip away so easily. Their ships, dark and angular in contrast to Alex's luminescent vessel, cut through space like predators on the hunt. I knew they'd come. Alex's voice breaks through the communications blackout, sounding oddly calm despite the situation. But what the collective doesn't realize is that they just made their biggest mistake. They're about to learn why the original builders left this technology dormant for so long. Some things aren't meant to be taken. They're meant to be earned. As we track both approaches, something extraordinary begins to happen. The aurora-like energy surrounding Alex's ship starts pulsing in patterns that match exactly with the mathematical sequences found in his earlier research. Each pulse sends waves through space that our instruments can barely measure, but their effects are undeniable. The collective ships begin to falter, their supposedly superior technology struggling against forces they never knew existed. The original builders weren't just advanced scientists. Alex explains through bursts of transmission. They were artists, philosophers, explorers who understood that true power comes from harmony, not control. The collective spent centuries trying to dominate this technology, never realizing it was designed to resist exactly that kind of exploitation. A new recording surfaces, recovered from the early days of Alex's captivity. I noticed something strange during their tests. Every time they tried to force the ship's systems to exceed certain limits, there was this subtle resistance, like the technology itself was holding back. They assumed it was a mechanical limitation, but I recognized it as something else entirely. It was choice. The system was choosing not to respond. The approaching confrontation takes an unexpected turn as Alex's ship begins emanating frequencies that seem impossible according to our current understanding of physics. The collective's pursuit fleet suddenly finds itself caught in what appears to be a cascade of their own failed commands, their stolen technology turning against them in ways they never imagined possible. What you're witnessing, Alex broadcasts globally now, his voice clear despite the chaos unfolding in space, isn't just a battle between ships. It's the awakening of something that's been waiting centuries for the right moment, for a species that could understand its true purpose. The collective thought they were the masters of this technology, but they were never more than temporary caretakers. But just as victory seems within reach, something unexpected happens. The collective ships begin emitting a strange, discordant energy signature that clashes violently with the harmonious patterns of Alex's vessel. The space between the opposing forces lights up with what looks like lightning made of pure darkness, creating a spectacular and terrifying display visible from Earth's surface. They're desperate now. Alex's transmission comes through strained and broken. They're trying to trigger a fundamental reset of all the ancient systems. If they can't control this technology, they'd rather see it destroyed. But they don't understand. You can't destroy something that's truly alive. You can only help it evolve. As humanity watches this cosmic battle unfold, a new signal begins broadcasting from Alex's ship, not in any language we know, but in pure mathematics, in patterns of light and energy that seem to speak directly to the fundamental forces of the universe itself. The final fragments of his transmission hint at something even more incredible. What you're about to see isn't the end of this story. It's the beginning of humanity's real journey among the stars. The sky above Earth becomes a canvas for forces we never knew existed, as two vastly different approaches to cosmic power clash in a display that will change our understanding of the universe forever. But in this moment of ultimate confrontation, Alex's true plan, and the real nature of the technology he's awakened, is about to reveal itself in a way that none of us, not even the collective, could have predicted. In the midst of this cosmic light show, as the collective's desperate attack reaches its peak, Alex's ship suddenly stops responding to their assault. The aurora-like energy surrounding his vessel begins to pulse with a rhythm that matches perfectly with Earth's natural magnetic field. That's when we realize he wasn't just fighting back, he was waiting for precisely this moment. The original builders understood something fundamental about the universe. Alex's voice broadcasts clearly now, reaching every communication device on Earth simultaneously. Power isn't about domination, it's about resonance. The collective spent centuries trying to force this technology to submit. They never realized it was studying them, waiting to see if they'd learn. They failed the test. But humanity still has a chance. In an instant, the dark energy weapons the collective ships are firing seem to fold in on themselves, creating microsecond singularities that collapse just as quickly as they form. Their ships, once so menacing, now hang motionless in space, caught in fields of pure possibility. The technology they thought they controlled has finally awakened fully, and it's chosen its side. Watch carefully. Alex transmits, because this is what the original builders intended all along. The luminescent vessel begins to transform, its structure flowing like liquid light. The mathematics of its design become visible to everyone watching. Perfect geometries cascading through dimensions we barely understand. But instead of using this power to destroy the collective ships, it does something entirely unexpected. The aurora-like energy extends tendrils toward each of the collective's vessels, enveloping them in the same harmonious patterns that now surround Earth. This technology wasn't designed as a weapon, Alex explains, his voice filled with wonder. It was created as a key to unlock the true potential in any species ready to understand its purpose. As we watch in amazement, the collective ships begin to transform, their harsh angles and predatory designs melting away to reveal something beautiful beneath, their own version of the original builder's vision, twisted by centuries of misuse but not beyond redemption. The beings aboard these ships, we learn through Alex's transmission, are experiencing something they haven't felt in generations, the freedom to choose their own path. The real power of this technology, Alex reveals, isn't in what it can do to others. It's in what it can teach us about ourselves. The collective didn't fail because they weren't advanced enough. They failed because they forgot how to learn, how to grow, how to see beauty in the unknown. But just as this revelation sinks in, as humanity begins to grasp the magnitude of what we're witnessing, Alex's ship does something nobody expected. It begins to split apart, not in destruction, but in multiplication. Thousands of smaller vessels, each pulsing with the same living light, emerge and take position around Earth like a protective constellation. What you're seeing isn't just a defense system. LX's final transmission echoes through every speaker and screen. It's an invitation. The original builders left their legacy not to the strongest or the most advanced, but to those who could understand that true power lies in unity, in growth, in the courage to face the unknown with wonder instead of fear. Humanity proved itself worthy not through conquest, but through curiosity. As the collective ships retreat, transformed by their encounter with powers they never truly understood, Earth finds itself surrounded by a network of living light, a gift from an ancient civilization, awakened by human ingenuity, and now ready to guide our species toward its next great adventure. Alex's vessel descends through the atmosphere, its appearance shifting until it seems to be made of pure starlight. As it lands on the grounds of his old university, where this incredible journey began, he emerges not as a conquering hero, but as a teacher ready to share the greatest lesson humanity has ever received, that our greatest strength lies not in the technology we possess, but in our capacity to understand it, to grow with it, and to use it wisely. The collective's defeat wasn't just a victory for Earth. It was the beginning of humanity's real journey among the stars, guided by wisdom as old as the universe itself, and as new as our dreams of tomorrow. As Alex steps out of his luminescent vessel onto familiar ground, the air around him shimmers with possibilities. The quantum physics professor who once gazed at the stars through his backyard observatory has returned with knowledge that will reshape our understanding of the universe. But the most profound changes, as it turns out, aren't in the technology he's brought back. They're in the lessons humanity has learned along the way. 6 months after that historic landing, the world has transformed in ways both subtle and profound. The network of living light satellites continues to orbit our planet, not as weapons or tools of power, but as bridges to a deeper understanding of space and time. Research teams worldwide collaborate to decode the vast library of knowledge Alex brought back, each discovery revealing more about the original builder's philosophy of harmony between technology and consciousness. The most remarkable thing, Alex explains during a global address from his old classroom, now filled with students from every nation, isn't that we gained access to advanced technology. It's that we proved humanity's greatest strength, our ability to learn, to adapt, and to see beauty in the unknown. The original builders didn't want followers. They wanted equals who could carry their vision forward. The collective, transformed by their encounter with the awakened technology, have begun a remarkable journey of their own. Reports from deep space monitoring stations show their civilization undergoing a renaissance of sorts, rediscovering the joy of innovation and exploration that they had lost in their centuries of merely copying what came before. Some of their ships, now bearing the same luminescent qualities as Alex's vessel, have even started making peaceful contact with other species, sharing their hard-learned lessons about the true nature of progress. In my role documenting these historic events, I've watched humanity take its first real steps into a larger universe. The technology we've gained access to isn't just advancing our scientific understanding. It's teaching us to think differently about our place in the cosmos. The original builder's legacy turns out to be less about the power they wielded and more about the wisdom to use it well. Alex now splits his time between teaching at the university and working with an international team to implement what he calls harmonic technology, innovations that work with nature rather than trying to dominate it. The results have been extraordinary. Clean energy systems that tap into Earth's natural rhythms, medical breakthroughs that enhance the body's own healing abilities, and communication networks that operate through quantum resonance rather than traditional signals. But perhaps the most profound change is in how we view ourselves as a species. The knowledge that we weren't chosen for our strength or our advancement, but for our capacity to understand and grow, has given humanity a new sense of purpose. We've learned that true power doesn't come from controlling the universe. It comes from understanding our place within it. As I conclude this report, sitting in Alex's rebuilt observatory where it all began, I can't help but feel optimistic about our future. The stars above no longer seem distant and unreachable. Instead, they twinkle with invitation, each one a potential adventure waiting to be explored by a species that has finally learned to approach the unknown with wonder rather than fear. Alex's final words in my interview with him seemed to perfectly capture this new chapter in human history. We thought we were looking for advanced technology, but what we really found was a mirror, one that showed us who we could become if we were brave enough to grow. The universe isn't just waiting to be explored, it's waiting to be understood. And understanding, it turns out, is humanity's greatest adventure. The living lights continue to dance above our planet, a constant reminder that in the vast cosmic story, humanity's chapter is just beginning. And this time, we're writing it not with the ink of conquest, but with the light of discovery.